anyways, unfortunately, starting off today's headline segment with some pretty upsetting news. Hank Aaron, an American hero and icon who held the Major League home run record with 755 home runs for more than 30 years, has passed away at the age of 86. And now, while his baseball achievements were enough on their own to warrant this legendary status, Aaron's off the field achievements were, to me, even more impressive in his fight for civil rights and equality in not only the sport of baseball, but also, in America, across the country. He's unfortunately the 10th Baseball Hall of Famer to die since last April, and the third this year alone. So as if we haven't had enough bad news in the past, 12, 14 months, this is just another one of those tragic events. I'll start with you, Chris, if you want to talk just a little bit about the impact that Hank Aaron has had, not only in baseball, but also just, in the fight for civil rights.
Yeah, I don't think I could have said it any better, Kelly. I mean, talk about a big sports. It doesn't get any bigger than this in baseball in terms of deaths. Hank Aaron, 755 feels like a record that's not going to be broken without an asterisk next to it. The fact that we've had a lot of really, really good baseball players and home run hitters to come through in the last 60, 70 years, whatever it is, 50 years. And only one gets over 755, and there's a giant asterisk next to it. Feels like that's an unbreakable one that does not get mentioned, along with 56 hits in a row and whatever else are the unbreakable records in sports. But I think you said it best. I mean, there are a lot of things outside of baseball that he should be commended for and has been commended for over the last 24 hours, including his fight for civil rights and growing up in the Jim Crow South, and then going to they started in Milwaukee. He started in Milwaukee, but the team obviously ended up moving to Atlanta, the Braves, and playing in the South again and chasing a white guy's record. Babe Ruth's record, 715 home runs was never done before, and it was Babe Ruth, and the scrutiny that he went through to break that record and then hit 40 more. Yeah, I could not have said any better, Kelly. An absolute legend.
Yeah, definitely echo what you guys said, and I mean, he's a trailblazer. I mean, definitely, a guy, just a hell of a baseball player too. He made 24 All-Star games in only 21 seasons. So I'll just say that he had more All-Star game appearances than seasons played, just because there were actually 2 All-Star games played back in the 50s. But that's how good he was. And it wasn't just a home run hitter. He was also an amazing hitter too. Just overall, just to me, one of the best hitters in all of baseball history. 3,771 hits. I mean, hit over 305 in his career, most RBIs in history, hit 300 or better 14 times. I mean, and then to deal with all that stuff off the field too. He was getting hate mail. The Braves had to hire somebody to sift through all of it and think about how you have to then change to baseball and then just dominate, completely dominate pitchers. I'm speechless because that's how good he was.
The most extra base hits of all time. Think about that. There's a lot of, talk about home runs, and home runs, only so many people can hit 50 home runs in a season. The most extra base hits in the history of baseball. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it truly is. And you just think, like Chris, you mentioned how many great players have come since him. And, he's still number 2 in at-bats, behind Pete Rose, number 3 in hits, in addition to the stats that you guys just mentioned. And, I always go back to, I've watched now multiple times Vin Scully, our very own Vin Scully's call of him breaking that record in 1974 with that 716th home run. And on air, in the spur of the moment, Vin Scully says, "What a marvelous moment for baseball. What a marvelous moment for Atlanta and the state of Georgia. What a marvelous moment for the country and the world. A black man is getting a standing ovation in the Deep South for breaking the record of an all-time baseball idol. And it is a great moment for all of us." And I think that truly encompasses, just how legendary he has been, what an inspiration he's been for, minority players and everyone who's come since him. And, Andrew, you mentioned, the hate mail that he used to receive. And I've just read so many stories in the past 24 hours about what he had to go through during that time. So many, it really wasn't that long ago. We're talking like the 1970s. That's not that long ago. And, I read somewhere that he had 930,000 pieces of fan hate mail, within that 20 span year of a career. And at one point they had the FBI hired 2 Atlanta police officers to sit in the stands while he was playing, just in case someone were to put him, were to come out and do something dangerous. So just the fact that he was able to play with such strength and, respect and bravery. And then, like you said, and perform so well, despite all that pressure he was under. I think it's just, it's truly inspiring. And, he went on to do so many amazing things after baseball. Him and his wife, Billy, they were part of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, which is a nonprofit that, seeks structural changes in our society, and they promote racial justice and equality. And he was honored with the Thurgood Marshall Lifetime Achievement Award in 2005. So, long after baseball, he still continued to make an impact on other things. And it's truly, it's crazy to, think about all he's done and where we are today, now looking at, the events of the past few years, and how there is starting to be, again, this push to re-examine where we are as a country, and how we approach diversity and things like civil rights. We have come so far, but, as we've learned recently, you see even just some of the tragic events of, the summer of 2020, how far we still have to go as a country.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Kelly. I couldn't have said it any better myself.
No, yeah, for sure. And, I think it also shows that, like, sports icons, like, they could definitely be a change off the field too. And, like, I mean, he's a guy that's just larger than life. I think you could say that. And, like, even in his later years, like, he would be able to take interviews. Like for example, when Tom Seaver passed away with the Mets, he sat down with, like, a Mets beat reporter for, like, over an hour to talk about Tom Seaver. Like, he didn't have to do that. The guy was 86, and he did that because he's just larger than life figure. And I think that's the best way to describe him.